Hi, today I will talk about three important concepts in art. The first one is called metaphysical art. It is a movement created by Giorgio Chirico and Carlo Carrà in the North Italian city of Ferrara. It was characterized by resorting to a recognizable iconography. An imaginary space was created in the image, based on a perspective of illusionism from a single point, but intentionally distorted. Within these spaces, classical statues and more commonly human figures, inspired by sewing mannequins, were depicted, infusing a surrogate, bland, and expressionless human presence. On the outdoor platforms or in the interiors, full of elements were placed spheres, colored toys, and undefined solid objects, plaster figures, and small realistic paintings. These elements combined to offer a disconcerting image of reality and to capture the disturbing nature of everyday life. Some of the most representative artists of this movement are Carlo Carrà, Giorgio de Chirico, who is the founder of metaphysical painting. Giorgio de Chirico is a true giant of avant-garde art. His works foreshadow surrealism, and he has ever been credited with creating the first ever conceptual painting, the enigma of the hour. We can also find other artists like Mario Cironi, Giorgio Morandi, and Nina Baletova. The next concept is neoclassicism. Neoclassicism refers to movements in the arts that draw inspiration from the classical art and culture of ancient Greece and Rome. The height of neoclassicism coincided with the 18th century Enlightenment era and continued into the early 19th century. Neoclassicism spanned all of the arts, including painting, sculpture, the decorative arts, theater, literature, music, and architecture. Some of the most representative artists of this movement are Jacques-Louis David, Antonio Canova, Jean-Auguste Dominique Ingres, Giovanni Battista Piranesi, Edmonia Lewis, Marie-Denise Villers, and Harriet Hosmer. Some of the architectural works of neoclassicism are the Pantheon in Paris. This is a masterpiece of neoclassicism in late 18th century architecture. It is particularly noticeable for its front portico or colonnade entrance, a classic feature of Roman and Greek temples. The U.S. Capitol building in Washington. Neoclassical architectural design by American colonial architect William Thornton. In this case, we can see symmetrical, massive perfection of simple forms. St. Isaac's Cathedral. The neoclassical exterior expressed the traditional Russian Byzantine formula of a Greek cross ground, planned with a large central dome and 4 subsidiary domes. Neoclassical architecture is characterized by grandeur of scale, simplicity of geometric forms, Greek, especially Doric or Roman detail, dramatic use of columns, and a preference for blank walls. Finally, we are going to talk about participatory art. Participatory art has its origins in the futurist and Dadaist performance of the early 20th century, which were designed to provoke, scandalize, and agitate the public. It's an approach to making art in which the audience is engaged directly in the creative process, allowing them to become co-authors, editors, and observers of the work. In this respect, the artist is seen as a collaborator and co-producer of the situation with the audience, and these situations can often have an unclear beginning or end. Participatory art exists under a variety of overlapping headings, including interactive, relational, cooperative, activist, dialogical, and community-based art. Some examples of participatory art are Untitled, Portrait of Ross in LA by the artist Felix Gonzalez Torres. This work is an allegorical representation of the artist's partner, Ross Laycock, who died of an AIDS-related illness in 1991. The installation is comprised of 175 pounds of candy, corresponding to Ross' ideal body weight. Viewers are encouraged to take a piece of candy, and the diminishing amount parallels Ross' weight loss and suffering prior to his death. González Torres stipulates that the pile should be continuously replenished, thus metaphorically granting perpetual life. The Clothesline Project by the artist Monica Mayer. In 1978, artist Monica Mayer distributed hundreds of pink paper postcards to a diverse group of women in Mexico City. Each card included a statement that was meant to be complete by the participants. As a woman, what I most hate about the city is. Most of the complete responses highlight experience of sexual harassment within the urban environment of Mexico City. Several women visiting the exhibition wrote additional responses in the cards, spontaneously participating in the artistic process. Good Piece by the artist Yoko Ono. In this performance, the artist sat alone on a stage, dressed in her best suit, with a pair of scissors in front of her. The audience had been instructed that they could take turns, approaching her and use the scissors to cut off a small piece of her clothing, which was theirs to keep.
Very delicate. It might take some time. Oh, not too long. I don't want to cut it.
Obliteration Room by the artist Yayoi Kusama. Yayoi Kusama Interactive Obliteration Room begins as a white space which visitors are invited to cover with stickers. Over the course of a few weeks, the room is transformed from a blank canvas into an explosion of color, with thousands of spots stuck over every available surface. And that will be all. Thank you so much for your attention. Bye!